Coming up shortly we go to Gore, and there they've already got the statue of the trout, they've got the statue of the Romney. Do they need a statue of a gold guitar? Let's find out. Should we have the statue of the gold guitar?
Well, I have reservations, Jared. I think it's a great idea. I think 10 metres high in the middle of a playground. Where do you take photos? You're out in the middle of State Highway 1, all sorts of problems with traffic. I think, and Jeanette McIntyre had it in a nutshell when she said perhaps a Hands of Fame on the footpath. I think the statue is a wee bit too much, and let's face it, we do have a lot of statues in Gore.
Well, I think it's needed. I think Gore is a beautiful place. It's a centre for all the farming area, and I think another statue wouldn't go amiss. And I think that the children have got to be encouraged and aspire to great heights, and I do believe that we need another statue just so the children who have got a little bit of musical ability can step out and say, I'm part of this Gore scene, and I admire that statue, and I want to be a singer when I grow up.
Well, it's great to be up country, the main street of Gore, and we're standing on one of the hot properties in Gore at the moment, the corner of Eccles and the main highway, and it's here that they're proposing to put a giant statue of a gold guitar, about the size of this tree here, and everyone's going to walk through it to get into the playground. Some people are not too happy that there's going to be yet another statue in Gore, so we went along to see Mary Ogg in her offices and some of the councillors, get their opinion. Here we are at Mary Ogg's office in Gore, and the big contentious issue, should they put the statue up or should they not? Have we got tourists coming in here because of the gold guitars?
Certainly we have. At present we have the Gold Guitar annual event, and it brings people to Gore, there's no doubt about that.
They have the statue up, though, don't they? They have not a statue up, but they
have a guitar that they put up each year for their event to publicise it, but this is a permanent fixture and it's going to be there forever.
Because the event's only on once a year. Why do you need a statue all year?
Well, people want to see a bit more when they're travelling through. We're recognised as the capital of country music and they want to see something for it.
Would you agree with that?
Not really. I think the people I've spoken to think it's going to be too dominant and in the green belt, and they would like to see something a little more tasteful.
Too big. How would you comment on that?
It polarises people, country music, I've got to say that, and we as a council recognise the fact that these people are very enthusiastic and do a lot for the town, but it's just how it's recognised and what is appropriate, because the council, you must remember, represents all of the community, and this is one of the good things of an issue like this. When it's opened up a discussion, we get the feedback from the community.
Mary Ogg, people are going to want to take photographs of this statue. To get a good photo, they're going to have to go across the other side of the road. Is that going to cause trouble?
I don't see any problems, Jared, because in the artist's impression, he has suggested that they take the photos from the bowling green point of view.
That's on the other side of the road?
Yes.
Right.
Not in the main street.
I think the other thing there, Gerald, is that when we go through the various consents that will be required, the resource consents, Transit New Zealand will be having input, and they will be the ones that dictate whether or not it's safe from the road traffic aspect.
Have we got too many statues in Gore?
I'm inclined to think so. Yes.
What feedback have you had from people?
The people I've been talking to want to encourage the Country Music Club by all means, but they're not happy with the one they're being offered at the moment.
What's their main objection?
The height, I think, where it's being placed, and the fact that they just feel that the country music is perhaps already represented in Gore. I really feel that it needs to go back to the drawing board.
Murray?
We need a positive statement of the size-wise. We need to bring people to see it. We need to bring the tourists through the town. I think that's what the Gore Country Music Club is trying to push too, that we need to bring money to our town. So if we can get people, draw them through our town to stop here and look at this structure, that must be good for us all.
Does it make a difference having a statue? How does it make you
feel?
Yes,
I think it does. We talk about the statues in a somewhat negative way in Gore, I think. The ram, for example, represents the Romney, which has brought great wealth to this district. The fish is beautifully designed by the same artist who's done this job. And he is a class operator, that gentleman. And take the fish, for example, that represents us as being the brown trout capital of the world.
Mary Ogg, does it make any difference to tourists? Does it attract anyone here because of a statue?
Definitely, because my husband was the catalyst of the brown trout. So I definitely know that the flack that was in 1988, 1989, the feedback was not good, but the people now say, isn't it great?
Why are they saying isn't it great?
Because it's bringing tourists into the town, and also people take photos all day, every day.
But when people come into the town, they're going to come for the Gore Country Music Club, but it's only on, the big event's only on once a year. Why are they going to come into the town because of that statue when it's only an annual event?
Well, that's a question we won't know till it's built. But, you know, I believe that the enthusiasm of a group of people like this should be portrayed one way or another, and as Councillor Morgan said, whether this is the appropriate way.
I might be into a rifle club. Can I stick a big rifle up? Is everyone going to want it?
As long as the people say they want it, I guess we've got to go along with it, but I want to be sure that the people really do have their say before we go to all the other expense, perhaps, or the country music club's expense of putting something that perhaps they're not going to be happy with in their town.
Final comment, Murray?
Well, country music just isn't a 1 week a year thing in Gore. It's here throughout the year, and people do come to Gore because it's the capital of country music.
Final comment from Mayor Mary Ogg.
I admire their enthusiasm, and I feel as a council we must support them, but we will listen to the people.
Well, it seems the same old story. Whenever you go to do something innovative, something bold, us Southlands, we just seem to have this little thing tugging inside us, saying hold back or all the worries. But very interesting there, Mary Ogg. The trout, no one liked it, but now they're all loving it. We'll keep an eye on that development of the gold guitar. But coming up shortly after the break, we'll have some happy faces down East Street when we shout morning tea.